everybody. Good evening. Oh, I can't even hear you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Right. We did the first part, the last meeting, and now I'm going to finish the second part with a demonstration by a beautiful young foreigner speaker. You have to guess who. Only ladies can be beautiful, right? Am I done? Right, what are the 3 M's? Can you recall? What are the 3 M's?
Memorable.
Who said that? Oh, okay.
That's
Thank you. Yeah. One more. Second one.
Meaningful.
Who said meaningful? Okay. It's a good guess, but it's okay. You're right. Meaningful subject. Right.
Mesmerizing.
Mesmerizing. Who said that?
Wow.
Oh, that's good. Second one. Third one.
Mellifluous.
Mellifluous. Wow, I must know a word. Okay, let's share with you now. Memorable. Magnificent.
Mesmerizing. Okay.
That's the we call the 3 M's. Now today we're going to talk about the part 2, which is effective delivery. When you are standing here, if your delivery is not effective, people will not link to you. You can't engage them. So there are different ways to do an effective delivery. First is the vocal variety. Most people, in my observation, is they are weak in vocal variety. Vocal variety is something that catches the people's attention. You're going to be highs and lows, which I will explain to you. Body languages will be your stance, your body movement, the gestures, your eye contact, and so forth. In a speech delivery, we need all these to make it effective, right? Then you paint your speeches. That means you use beautiful words, rhetorics. Instead of saying raining cats and dogs, what do you normally say? It's raining heavily, right? Then you say, let's raining cats and dogs. So you can use also oxymoron. Pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. Opposites. So those are the words you use. The LE will talk to you later about all these things. And then emotions. Now, in a sales pitch, when you're doing sales, do not use logic because people do not buy on logic. You have to create emotions. Then that is the sale, the final sales. So you need emotions to do your sales, right? If you have any questions, please raise your hand. I will only do for 20 minutes because I'm going to bring in the special speaker for you. Okay. Now you can, in your presentation, you can include props, audio, video, and visual aids. This will be very helpful to you to enhance and complement your speeches. But overuse of these will drown your speech. Remember that. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Vocal variety will be this. The rate of speaking, like I'm speaking now, is 160 words per minute. If you are very excited, you will speak faster. That means more words per minute. And if you are telling a sad story, then lower your voice and speak slower, and you won't get 160 words per minute, right? The pauses are very important because each time you ask a question, you need to pause. Like, have you taken your dinner? You pause for them to sing it and answer. But some speakers say, have you taken your dinner? I think you have taken, huh? And you answer yourself, which is wrong. You know what I mean? That's what we call pauses. The volume, for this room is, I think everybody can handle this room because it's a very small room. But if it's a bigger room, probably you got to increase your volume a lot more. The pitch, highs and the lows. You need animation. This one also. Emphasis of the word. Emphasis of the sentence. Give me a sentence. Give me a sentence. Any sentence. Give me a sentence.
You are in the dark.
You are in the dark. Good. Thank you, Papa. Can I bring Papa?
Can. So you want to be the other
No.
one?
That means I qualify. You know what I mean? Because emphasis. Again, a sentence.
You are in the
You
dark.
are in the dark. You are literally in the dark. Just tell you the light.
The sentence can be emphasized. You are in the dark. Okay? Or then you are in the dark. The dark goes up. So that is emphasize a situation, the words, right? So that's why I emphasis. Variation, tone variation, animation. Now, if you are telling a story, the father and the son, the father, why don't you eat your dinner? The son, you can get just the animation. So in telling stories, you need a lot of animation to make it your vocal variety effective. You get it? So depending what type of speeches you are doing, in any speech you do, you need all this to make it effective and interesting. Question? Body language is also another very important part of your delivery. Your facial expression. When you're telling happy stories, your face must be happy, smiling all the time. But when you're telling a very sad story, then you have to be somber. Your face has to change. Facial expression is important. Hand gestures. I flew to London. I ate my dinner. You don't say I flew to London and I ate my dinner. You don't do that. So these gestures will help you to enhance your speech for the audience, so easier to remember. Postures, the way you stand. Don't say crouch, and some people also put their hands in the pocket, which is not advisable. So the way you stand is very important. People look at you. I hope I'm taller, but I'm not. But tomorrow you're right. Tall people stand a better chance. They're not in presentation because you're not tall. You don't like that. Right? Stand. Now, in the way you stand, and also when you speak, when you're reading a book, there's paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you speak here, you can't say this paragraph. So you have to stand somewhere either here or here, and try not to block the screen. But here I have no choice. I will show you the example. You may start your speech here, and your second point, you just have to move only one step. Third point, just another step. That people will know that you are changing your point. But some people, when they speak, they will say, last time I was going there, then I then I keep moving. It's very distractive. You just try speaking like that, and the people just have to follow you all the time, right? So you make your body movement according to the speech. Okay? Eye contact is very necessary, especially your evaluator will tell you, you're not looking at me, I'm talking to me. So you try to eye contact with the whole room, but it's easier on one-on-one. But then if you are speaking with eye contact, then you have to look at this section, your first point, blah, 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 blah. Then you move center, second point, then you move to the third point. Look. Then when you're speaking, try to get answer, get agreement from the person. That's how you use your eye contact, right? And all these are part of speech delivery, which is important. Some believers and words are all I have to take your heart away. See, in the presentation, when you want to do the segment, you can put it in the music. The music will introduce you to what I'm going to tell you. You know what I mean? This will link to the speech.
And the volume will wake you up.
All right. Sometimes you can find just one part of a song, put it in there, and you introduce the segment. And I use a lot of music in my presentation and also videos, right? Now, how to paint your speeches? Use the right words, good grammar, pronunciation, rhetorical devices. These are the gadgets you need, the ingredients you need to make a beautiful speech. Metaphors. There are many metaphors. The LE will tell you, can you use LE? You know what's LE? Language evaluator. Okay? All these are quite common, in fact, quite common metaphors you can use in your speeches. Instead of saying a small thing, you say a song in a teacup, small matter, you go throw it up. Right? Raining cats and not to know. Pay an arm and a leg is what? What is this? Pay an arm and a leg? Pay an arm and a leg? Very expensive. So instead of saying it's so expensive, you say I paid an arm and a leg for that. So you use words like this to paint your speeches. Right? And also oxymoron, opposites. And they make sense, you see? Small crowd. Crowd should be big, but you say small crowd. Forget to remember, and forgot to remember. So there are opposite words which you can use in your speeches. That will really paint your speeches beautifully. Happily married in oxymoron. Is it? I don't know. You're not married. Hello, you give us a lot of hope.
Yeah, there is hope. There is hope.
Okay. In your presentation, I would really love if you can make some humor. Otherwise, it may be very dry even for 7-minute speech. You know, and nobody laughs. You must every now and then plant humor into your speeches so that the people will not fall asleep. In fact, the last one we did is we have to pray first before we start. Remember? You say a prayer before we start. Ask God to keep you awake. Okay? So happily married, I leave it to you whether it is. Okay. Now, a sales girl in Bangkok is a story I like to tell. Long time ago, I was in Bangkok. You know me, Fernando Young. I went to the shopping center and I looked at a young, beautiful girl. I look at her. Hi. Can I take you out for dinner? What time to finish work? What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong, right? Then she answered me, 6 o'clock. So I was a bit disappointed with this sort of answer she gave me. I complained to the manager of the store. I said, hey, how come I was nice to this girl and she gave me this sort of answer? Then the manager went and they spoke in Thai, and the manager, oh, sorry, sir, sorry. This is a misunderstanding. You see, this is a young Thai girl. She's never been to the English school. It is something to do with her pronunciation. What she meant was, so if your pronunciation is wrong, the meaning is wrong, and you can create problems. So when the tiger tell you 6 o'clock, you know it's 6 o'clock, right? Again, try to make some fun in the presentation. All right.
Fusion, film, wax, children, garment, lettuce, flower, woman, click,
British and Singapore pronunciation.
blind, salmon, receipt, lavender, Wednesday, cement, divorce, excuse me, sword, Japanese, tree, library, favorite, Singapore, McDonald, comfortable, prayer, athlete, schedule, essence, license,
Singapore, in our context, we will understand. Maybe you and you may not. We will understand and you mispronounce. We will know. Okay? And these are very common mistakes we use in our everyday language. Please take note of that. Between 1 to 10, what is the mistake here? Between 1 to 10.
From 1 to 10.
Okay, between 1 and 10. When there's a between, it's always here, and that 1 and 10. It's always not 2. More cheaper? Cheaper. It's cheaper, right? There's no more, just cheaper. This one is the biggest mistake. Day off and off day and day off, what's the difference? When you do not work on a Sunday, what is that?
Day off.
Day off.
Day off, right? What is off day?
I'm having a
No,
bad day.
off day, that's the word.
I'm having a bad day.
Right? Normally you run 100 meters in 10 seconds, but this time you take more than that. So this is your day, your off day, no full day. Right? Okay? My best husband. One younger came out to speak, she talked about her best husband. I said, how old are you? She said, 25. 25, you married 3 times already? She said, no. I said, no, don't marry 3 times, you never get the best husband. No matter how best he is, he's a good husband because you only married 1 time. You need to marry 3 times before you can say, this one is the best husband. So, it's the wrong use of best, alright? But a lot of people say, this is my best boyfriend. So, yes. 10 over people, this is the greatest mistake. Even you student read this, 10 over people,
Over 10.
over 10. It's always over 10, it's not 10 over. Over 10. Common mistakes again, some more. Tallest of the 2.
Taller.
Taller of the 2. Okay? If 2 is taller. If 3, then you can say tallest of the 3. Alright? Lend versus borrow. You know what's lend and what's borrow? The difference? What is lend?
That means you are the giver and then borrow means you're the receiver.
Good. You know, when he studies in America, that's what I asked her. I didn't know. Okay. But someone said, borrow me some money. You did borrow me some money, which is wrong, right? You lend me some money. It's not borrow me some money. So these are the everyday language you hear anywhere in the market. Everyday language. Only 2 sizes. Only 2 sizes, S and M. If only 2 sizes, it has to be large and small. The M is missing. There's no M. 2 sizes, large and small.
It could be correct.
Whichever.
It could be correct. It could be a size M or a size
No,
S.
if there are only 2 sizes, like you buy coffee, if there are only 2 sizes, it's large and small. It's not large and M. Or it's not M and small.
Or it could be there are
only
3
2
sizes,
3 sizes, yes.
but one is out of sale.
That is different. Alright. Please come, please go. Indians always say, please come.
Yeah, please come back.
They never use
Yeah.
go. I asked the CEO, why don't you all use go? She said, in the Indian language, there's no go. It's come. Okay? Please come my house. I come your house.
Come back again.
It's not never go. So it's not for English. You must know what's the difference between come and go. Blue color pen. Blue pen. Yes, blue is already a color. And then now we present to you someone who will demonstrate to you exactly what is vocal variety, what is body language, and also the rhetorics. Okay? Let's welcome Angela.
And friends and speakers and friends to be. Every cloud has a silver lining. Please repeat after me. Every cloud has a silver lining. I want you to remember this all year through whenever you have a problem. Every cloud has a silver lining. All through life, people have problems. I used to think that I was the only person in the world who had a problem. I was astonished. I went to KL and I saw the Twin Towers and I thought, oh, easy, they put them up like that. I went to the museum and discovered there were no end of problems. The ground was wrong, the builders were late. You couldn't believe the absolute troubles they had. In the end, they got the building up. And every building you look at has problems. I went to America and I saw a huge bridge across the water, and I was horrified to read that 9 people had died building it. I thought, what a terrible place, what a terrible disaster. Then I discovered that most big projects, somebody died. This astonished me, but you'll find it's true. But usually they don't put up plaques. But if you read the history, you find it's so. Because accidents happen all the time, especially in the building industry. Now what about the accidents through life? Through your life, you have ups and downs. Life is a roller coaster. You think that everybody, when you get to hear about them, they're up there. But they actually started down there, and some of them went like that, but not many. Most of them went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you read about them on the ups and the downs. You read about birth, you read about marriage, you read about jobs, and you read about death. And they all have their ups and downs. let's look at my life. As far as I'm concerned, when I was born, well, I celebrate every year on a birthday. It was a good day, wasn't it? As far as my mother was concerned, she had a cesarean. She was very pleased, she says, to have had me. But that's how she feels looking back on it. I'm sure the day when she woke up, when she'd been cut and she was under anaesthetic, she wasn't feeling so good. But that is not the way she tells the story, at least not to me. Because I wouldn't like to hear, oh my God, it was absolutely dreadful. What I want to hear was, I was so pleased when you were born. I had a cesarean because I couldn't wait to see you. And I wanted to be sure you were safe and okay. And that was what she told me all through my childhood. Now let's look at, I'll tell you some more about my life. My father, I discovered late in life, when I was about 21 years old, was not my mother's first husband, but her second husband. What happened to the first husband? She married in World War II. She had a brother in the RAF. Flying planes. Big, important job. And he had a friend who was a pilot, who my mother married. Wonderful! Do you know what the life expectancy of pilots was in the First and Second World Wars? About 3 weeks. Well, her husband was very lucky.
She lasted 4 weeks.
Nearly. He lasted over 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And then what happened? My mother used to hear the postman coming. One day she heard no whistling. She knew what that meant. A black telegram. And she knew it was either her brother or her husband. And her mother was in a wheelchair and had Parkinson's disease. And I can imagine her mother saying, "What is it? What is it? Tell me, what is it?" I imagine my mother thinking, "Oh, don't let it be my brother, don't let it be my brother." So she opened the telegram, it wasn't her brother. Good news, bad news, it was her husband. So, you think that was the end of the world. Now, a lot of people who are so young, lose a husband, would have been suicidal. But my mother had to keep going for the sake of her mother in the wheelchair. And many years later she said to me, "I thought I'd never find another husband." But she did. And who was that lovely man? That was my father. And I will show you a picture of them. Here's my father, who lived to the age of 93 and said he had a wonderful life, all due to my mother.
Wow.
So there was a down for losing her first husband, but an up for meeting her second husband. But if she committed suicide after the first husband, she'd never met the second husband, and I would not be here entertaining you today.
Yeah.
So life has its ups and downs. I found a wedding picture, and I was very surprised that my mother marrying my father was not dressed in white. And only later did somebody tell me the reason is that if you're a widow in wartime Britain, you did not wear white for a second marriage. So for years I never saw these pictures. But I was invited to a relative, an 80-year-old relative's 80th birthday party. Other members of my family said, "Oh, we don't want to go to this old 80-year-old's birthday party, we've got other things to do." But I said, I knew what my mother would have said. She'd have said, "You must go and support your elderly relatives." So I went along and I listened politely while they showed me all the photos. And then they produced one photo and said, "I don't know who this is." I looked at it. I said, "I know who that is." And the man said, "Who is it?" "That's my parents." "It's a wedding photo." He said, "Wedding photo? How do you know it's a wedding photo? It doesn't look like a wedding photo to me." I said, "It's definitely a wedding photo." I know my mother from when she was younger. That was my mother.
Whoa, wow.
And I can recognise her in this picture. That is my parents' wedding photo. And so by going to this 80th birthday party, I had got the missing photo from my family history. Now I recommend that you write your family history. You will find all the ups and downs, and it's important to do it now. People say, I'll write my family history when I retire. When will you retire? At 50? At 60? And how old will your parents be? They might have Alzheimer's. They'll have forgotten. So write your family history now. But the important thing to remember is that every cloud has a silver lining. They say after me,
Every cloud has a silver lining.
when you lose your job, you'll find another. Every cloud has a silver lining.
This is how a presentation should be. And the beautiful words to use, right? Now, can you give me, just quickly, 3 things you did that you think is very good, that you can use? 3.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Okay. She started the speech with that, and she ended the speech with that, right? So, just Chris, anything?
Props.
Yeah, props.
With a silver
With a silver
lining.
lining.
Good. One more?
Sincerity,
You think so?
emotion.
Emotion. You
Voice
see, she can
modulation.
Sad story.
she exhibit emotion. She was telling fast, slow, then sad, you know. So these are the ways to do it. Now I want to give her probably 2 suggestions how to make the speech better. It's not criticism, but you know, you need to
Useful point.
Slides.
right. Okay.
We want
One more.
slides.
One more. Now, you see, when you do a speech, if you use PowerPoint, there's a difference between PowerPoint and sitting here. You know what I mean? Now, the room is small enough, of course, you can see. But if it's a big room, 200 people, you can't see. So, suggestion is you use PowerPoint when you want to show all the pictures. That's very good. Just one more. One more suggestion. No? Just one more. Anything.
Moving around to
Okay.
time.
For me, to me personally, is the lack of engagement with the audience. You know, they said my mother died. They said, what about you? Do you have that? So you ask questions. You engage. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Let me explain to the Chinese. They're very superstitious. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
We are westernized. We don't have this. So the
Are any of you born by cesarean?
Let me ask 1 or 2 or 3 questions as you are speaking to engage the audience, get them to connect with you. Okay? If you have these 2, your speech will be a world-winning speech. Right? So the time is up. Let's give Angela another big round of applause. You got the applause from them. You got a hug from me. Appreciate it.